What does it really mean to become yourself? For Michelle Obama, that question wasn't just some private thought. It was played out on the world stage. So we're not just looking at a biography of a first lady here. We're diving into the story of an identity forged under the most intense spotlight you can possibly imagine. And really, this quote says it all. Her entire story, her whole book, is built around this one powerful idea: becoming. See, it's not some finish line you cross. It's this constant, ongoing process of growth and discovering who you are. So that's the big question, right? How does that actually happen? How does a girl from the south side of Chicago end up becoming a global icon? It's a heck of a journey, filled with self-doubt, public attacks, and just immense pressure. Let's dig in and see how she navigated it all. Okay, so we're going to break her journey down into 5 key stages. First, finding her voice way back in Chicago. Then, the partnership of purpose that totally changed her life's path. Next up, the reluctant journey to Washington. Then, how she completely redefined what it means to be First Lady. And finally, the legacy she is still building today. All right, let's start at the very beginning, because her identity was really forged in a Chicago bungalow, long before the White House was even a tiny blip on the radar. Her childhood was this incredible story of 2 different worlds. Inside her home, it was all warmth, love, jazz music, and board games, a really strong, supportive foundation. But then you step outside, and you're in 1960 Chicago, a city just simmering with racial tension and social upheaval. That contrast, that duality, it shaped her entire view of the world. Her path forward was just relentless. From mastering the piano, using a chipped key as her guide, to facing blatant racism at Princeton, where a roommate's mother had her daughter moved out, she just kept pushing. She got her law degree from Harvard, landed a high-paying job, and was checking all the right boxes for success. But, and this is a big but, inside she felt this growing disconnect. It was a career built for stability, not for passion. And then, just when she thought she had it all mapped out, her carefully planned life took a sharp, totally unexpected turn. Oh, the story of how they met is just fantastic. Picture this. She's this disciplined, by-the-book associate at a top law firm, and she gets assigned to mentor a summer associate named Barack Obama. He shows up late on his very first day, and the ever-punctual Michelle Robinson was, well, let's just say she was not impressed. But his mind and his passion for the community, they eventually won her over. The relationship went from professional to personal one evening over some Baskin-Robbins ice cream, of all things, when he just asked. That moment, right there, changed absolutely everything. Now, this is so interesting. They had completely different ideas about what partnership even meant. She saw marriage as 2 lives becoming one single unit. He saw it more as 2 lives growing side by side. It was a pretty fundamental difference, and it was going to take a ton of compromise and growth from both of them to make it work. So right when she's questioning this whole career path, this unfulfilling life she's built, tragedy strikes. Her father passed away, and it was a massive wake-up call. It just made one thing crystal clear for her. Life is way too short to spend it doing work that just drains your soul. So she left the fancy law firm and took a job at City Hall, choosing purpose over prestige. And that decision, choosing purpose over prestige, well, that set the stage for the next pretty brutal chapter, her reluctant entry into the political arena. That 2008 campaign, wow, it was an absolute trial by fire. Seeing the government's failure during Hurricane Katrina convinced her that Barack's political ambition was necessary. But the cost was huge. The media twisted her words, trying to paint her with these awful stereotypes. And yet, in Iowa, her authenticity was so powerful, she earned the nickname the Closer. The strain was so intense, it actually started affecting her daughter's health, which forced them to step back and reevaluate everything. To get through it, she had to consciously learn how to find her own voice in that political storm, even hiring an expert to help her navigate the constant attacks. And then, history was made. Against all odds, Barack Obama was elected the 44th president of the United States. That girl from the south side of Chicago was now the First Lady, alongside the nation's first ever Black president. Okay, so now they're in the White House. For Michelle, this meant figuring out a role with no real job description, but with a level of scrutiny that is just unimaginable. Look, she was never going to be just a hostess. She wanted to make a real impact. Her number one priority was always giving Sasha and Malia as normal a life as possible. But she also launched major initiatives. The White House Garden, for example, became a powerful symbol for her Let's Move campaign to fight childhood obesity. And with Jill Biden, she created joining forces to support our military families. She used her platform with real intention. But the pressure, it wasn't just political. It was deeply personal and, frankly, dangerous. The whole climate was toxic, fueled by conspiracy theories that questioned her husband's citizenship. This wasn't just online chatter. It was real. So real that one day a bullet from a rifle hit a White House window, right near where she and her daughters would often sit. It was this terrifying, real-life reminder of the hate they were facing every single day. So, just like that, 8 years in the White House came and went. But for the Obamas, the work of becoming and of contributing was far from over. Their second term was just packed with these huge, historic moments. You had the raid that killed Osama bin Laden, a really tough re-election fight, marriage equality becoming the law of the land, and of course, Michelle launching her global Let Girls Learn initiative. Their impact just kept growing. And then came the 2016 election, and the results were for them a stunning blow. But even in that disappointment, she held on to this core belief that the work they'd done, the hope they'd inspired, the lives they had touched, that couldn't just be erased. That legacy, she felt, was permanent. And you see that work continuing today. Through the Obama Foundation, they are focused on empowering the next generation of leaders, carrying forward the very same mission of service that brought them together all those years ago. Which, brings us right back to where we started, with this idea of becoming. Her story isn't just about a journey to the White House. It's a mirror for all of our lives, a powerful reminder that our identity isn't some fixed thing. We are all a work in progress, shaped by every single choice and every challenge we face. So in the end, the final question isn't really about Michelle Obama at all. It's about you. Her story is proof that your own journey matters. So it leaves all of us with one big question to think about. What are you becoming?